Hi soldiers, the word of the day today is history. This morning I went and ran for PT with a friend, and this friend took me past the Field Artillery Museum here at Fort Sill. I was really impressed with the display of cannons they have there. It's really an amazing spectrum of what is within the world of field artillery. You had some pieces that were on wagon wheels and some that were on tracks. You had little small towed howitzers all the way up to Atomic Annie pulled with 2 tractors. It's really some awesome weapons there. Each cannon was built for a specific purpose, and when you see all of it together, you can see part of the history of warfare in our country. You can see the diversity of fires that the Army has needed throughout its different wars. You can see how the guns became increasingly complex and more destructive across time. They just made them better and better. It has me thinking about history, how each of us has a history. Each one of us has a very different story of how we came to be where we are today and why we're serving our country. All of us have been through battles in our lives, and each battle has been a little bit different. There was some resource available to each of us in all of those battles, something that we hadn't used before. Think back to the struggles that you've had across your life. I'm sure you've had them. In each, I suspect there's a person or a song or the outcome that helped you to make sense of the whole thing. I believe that in every new trouble, we can see mercy from God and come to know His grace a little differently than we ever have before. It's important to remember what has carried you through life's struggles in the past, to remember what worked and what didn't. All of these things, all of these different tools form a museum of strength for us to draw from when we encounter new pain and difficulty. We can look back and say, I haven't dealt with this before, but I've been through something similar and I survived that, and here's how. As I consider my own history, I'm amazed how God has provided for all that I need in every difficulty. I didn't know it at the time, but when I look back, God's hand has guided me every step of the way. Knowing that it has always been true before gives me strength and hope as I face new problems today. The word remember is a really big concept in the Bible, and I'd like to leave you with just one example today. The prophet Nehemiah called the people to remember their God and their history with him to bolster their courage for the struggles they were facing at the time. Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 14 says, "After I looked things over, I stood up and said to the nobles, the officials, and the rest of the people, don't be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, who is great and awesome, and fight for your families, your sons and your daughters, your wives, and your homes." So remember what you've been through in the past, how you survived great difficulties, and the tools that you used to do that. Have a great day today, Thunder Battalion. We'll see you next time.